Okay, hello everybody. And can you type if you can hear me and you can see the screen in the chat box? Okay, I've got a lot of answers, like everything is fine. And here is a little information. This time we will not have the chat where you can see everybody's answers, unfortunately, but the next time you will be able to communicate with each other. So for now, I will see all your answers and questions and everything, and I will try to answer them throughout the webinar and at the end of this webinar. And today's topic is integrated learning in primary classroom. And my name is Tetiana Shelepko. I'm Cambridge University Press ELT consultant, and I'm going to deliver this webinar for you. And we start in 1 minute. As I understand, everything is fine with the sound and you can see me. Can you see the screen? Yes, people say yes, they can see the screen. Yeah, we unfortunately, I will repeat once again for those who just joined, unfortunately, we don't have a chat, but we will have it for the next time and in other Linguist company webinars. So hopefully this is the last time we don't have it. Okay, integrated learning in primary classroom. And my first question to you is, what do you teach? You can type your answers in questions or in chat box. English language. Okay, I will just read answers for you. English, of course, at school, at secondary, English. Oh, somebody wrote skills. Yes, somebody wrote skills. Somebody teaches fun. Oh, I love that, that response. Okay, I will look at one more answer. And English, one more. Okay, so teaching English. Yeah, I have here, yes, we teach English, but here is one more question. What do you really teach? And somebody wrote skills. What kind of skills? Are they only language skills? We teach reading, writing, of course, but what else? 21st century skills, communication, life skills. Okay, that's wonderful. You know everything you have to teach at school nowadays. And yeah, not only life skills, not only communication in 21st century, but we also teach content. Yeah, not only English language. Yeah, critical thinking, of course. Yes, Tatiana wrote critical thinking. That's crucial nowadays. But we also teach other subjects through English. And this is one of the points for today's webinar. How it's done and why we do this, we will discover. So what is actually integrated? I think you've seen this abbreviation. Yeah, we have I for integrated, and L for learning. Okay, somebody wrote there is no sound. Can you hear me? Okay. Yes, everybody can hear me. I will just type here that there is sound. While I'm typing about the sound, can you type your answers? What stands for C and what stands for L? Okay. And I'm coming back to your answers. Content and learning. Okay, life. What else do we have here? Culture. Yeah, there is no chat box, but you can see my my messages, I hope, from the chat. Content. Oh, finally, I've got content and language integrated learning. Yes, this is one thing we will stop today on, content and language integrated learning. And here is a picture which somehow explains how it happens. Yeah, and if we look at the top of the picture, we can see a bird. If we look at the bottom of the picture, we can see a fish. And somewhere in the middle, we have CLIL, yeah, content and language integrated learning. Not a fish, not a bird, both in one line. And okay. Sorry, I'm trying to read all of your answers. Okay, you don't see the screen. Can you see the screen now? Oh, thanks God. Okay, okay. Everybody can see the picture. I'm audible, I'm visible. Let's go on. So in the middle, we have something in between, right? But here, somewhere here, we have, like in the third row, we have content based language learning. Here we have content and language integrated learning, and here we have the complete immersion. And somebody wrote there that one of the subjects which is taught in Ukrainian, it would be great if it was taught in English. So if it happened, it would be immersion, yeah, complete immersion into the subject, but using English as the instrument to explain this subject, to teach this subject. So we will move to this later. And now I've got an activity for you. And there are different types of content, especially for primary students. We need to understand what types of content they are. And I will give you a few examples. I will ask you to think now about what type of content this is. So here are examples. John has got a dog. Student 1, do you like maths? Student 2, no, I like English. It's rainy in London. 1 and 1 is 2. Blue and yellow is green. A pike lives in water. Grammar means writing magic spells in English. Pride and Prejudice is a novel. And here are the types of content. And the task here is to match the sentence, the example, to its type of content. I will give you a few minutes. Okay, I've got the first answer. I've got 2 answers. Okay, I have a few people that just joined, so I will repeat the task for them. The task is to match the example of content to its type of the content. Matching exercise. I've got a few more answers. Almost all of them are correct. Oh, I've got the full set of answers. Okay, yes. Okay. Oh, those are so different answers. Okay, finish matching. We will look at the correct answers. Finish your matching. Okay, I've got a few more. And for those who just joined, I will repeat, unfortunately, we don't have chat working today, but we will have it working in all of our further webinars. So for now, I am the only one who can see all the answers and all the messages. Ooh, I've got so many answers coming. Yes. And lots of them are correct answers. That's great. All right, I'll move on to the correct answers. And here they are. John has got a dog. What kind of content this is? This is zero or trivial content. And you know, there is always a John and a Mary who always have got something or like doing something, and they are usually used in grammar presentations, right? Just to express the structure. So this is some random John who has got a dog, and it doesn't give us any information apart from linguistic structure. The next one is students themselves. This is communication, right? The communicative exercise where they ask questions and answer according to what is true for them. This is a personalized activity. And of course, it works much better than zero content. It gives them some reality in communicating. Then we have It's Rainy in London. Somebody wrote that this is a local environment, but unfortunately, no, this is English-speaking culture or English-speaking countries content, which is, yeah, because it's London. Local, it's something where we are located. Okay. 1 and 1 is 2. Almost everybody wrote that this is another subject. Okay, I'm sorry for a second. So 1 and 1 is 2. It's math, right? Okay, somebody wrote here math. No sound. Again. Can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me now? Yes, everybody can hear me. Sound is good. Okay, thank you. Sorry. Let's move on. So 1 and 1 is 2. This is math. Blue and yellow is green. This is, we can say, world of general knowledge, but as well it can be another subject, which is art. Then a pike lives in water. This can also be general, world of general knowledge. Somebody wrote that this is world of general knowledge, but for us, we are talking about local environment, because pike is a fish typical for Ukraine, yeah, and it lives in lakes in Ukraine, right? In lakes. Okay, so we count it as local environment content. Grammar means a writing of magic spells in English, and this is, of course, linguistics. The content is based on some linguistic information, history or origin of the word, or etymology, let's say so. And do you think it's the truth? This is a question to you. Do you think it's truth? Grammar means writing of magic spells in English. Okay, I'm just looking at your answers. Counting them. Okay, I've got 57 yes, 30 no, and 1 sometimes. Okay, 1 more yes, and 1 more yes. A lot of yeses. Oh, right. Yes, this is the truth, and it means writing magic spells in ancient English, very ancient English. So yes, you can use it with your students, saying that if they study grammar, they will be magicians. Anyways. And Pride and Prejudice, yeah, it's novel, so this is, the content is based on literature. And I should say that linguistics is something we cannot, okay? Sorry? Linguistics and probably literature is something we don't normally use with primary students, but we use the rest, especially zero content for structures in songs, for example. Yeah, we use students themselves as content a lot. We use 1 and 1 is 2, yeah, to make connections between different areas of their knowledge. And we use local environment a lot. We don't normally use English-speaking countries as content for primary students, but we sometimes do that, but not normally. Yeah, most of all we use themselves as content. This really works. Okay, there is one more kind of content, and for this I will okay, I will escape a little bit from the presentation for a while.
Pupils book 1. The cap. My cap isn't here. Oh no. Look at Gary. That's my cap. Are you sure? Maybe it's his cap. Stop! That's my cap, Gary. No, it's my cap. Get my cap, please. No problem. Hey! That's my cap. I'm very sorry, Gary. It's okay.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, so this was the story. All right, I will just come back. Sorry. All right. Coming back. Yeah, we're talking about values, and I've got, sorry, I've got another question to you, and here will be a poll. I will try to turn it on. Just here it is. Your task will be to vote what kind of content this is. Okay, I've got only 45% of participants voted, which is about 150 people. So we will wait a little bit. All right. We've got 54% of participants voted. So you still have a second to vote. Let it be 55%. Okay, I'm closing the vote, poll, and we have 72% voted for moral, cultural, social issues, 18% for values, and 22% for social competence. And we've got something about 100 and maybe 200 people who voted in this poll, who participated in the poll. So if we have 72% who voted for moral issues, that's really good, because this is the truth. What's wrong about values and social competence? Yeah, it's not kind of content. Value, it's a skill. It's closer to skill. Yeah, to and to competences as well. And social competence is not content; it's the competence. So some issues might be content for teaching them values, for teaching them these social skills and social competences. But you see the difference, right? It's a critical thinking exercise here. All right. Here is another exercise for you. Reorder these topics from the most to the least appropriate in the primary classroom. But I will just ask you to type in. Okay. Sorry. 1 second. Okay, just tell me three types of content. You see, I wrote here values, but it should be moral, cultural, social issues. Still, I will ask you to reorder them, and not to reorder, but tell me 3 of the most important in primary classroom, which you think are the most appropriate, the best to teach at primary classroom. I've got to answer. Okay, what's one? Oh, general knowledge, students themselves. Moral issues, students themselves. 1, 5, and 6. What's 1, 5, and 6? So it's 0 content, world of general knowledge, and local environment. Good, okay. 5, 7, 8. What's 7 and 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. World of general knowledge, local environment. Okay, most of the answers are students themselves, local environment, 0 content, right? I would say that 3 most important types of content are, first of all, moral issues, because we teach values, and values deal with all the skills about social skills. Then we have students, okay, the first one, students themselves, because the first thing they are interested in is themselves, right? Then we have values, then we should say it's either 0 content or world of general knowledge or local environment. It doesn't matter here, but of course there are no correct or incorrect answers, because this is the way you teach, the way you see how to do better with your kids. But I would say that linguistics and literature as content, literature might be, but linguistics shouldn't be content for students. They are not interested in that at all in primary classroom, because they come to your lesson to have some fun, and they don't want to get that linguistics. This might be really interesting for you. And okay, ooh, I've got so many more answers which are mostly correct. Right, so if you come to the classroom with the objective to teach them language, they never do that in primary classroom. They might do it in secondary school and of course as adults, because they are motivated in a different way. And primary students, their only reason why they go to school is to have fun. So what we have to do, we have to use it and somehow teach life skills through the game, through the role plays and models. And we have to take everything from this desire to have fun, to bring as much as much learning into the classroom as possible. And be sure that you disassociate your objective and students' objective, and be sure you see the difference between them, because they might differ a lot. And finally, be sure you have the correct product of your lesson set. So your product, as for the teacher, is students who can, for example, say sorry in English. For students, their product will be winning a game, or winning a competition, or winning or giving the biggest amount of examples from their life and they achieved. And they never think of what they achieve in studying English, the primary students, but you need to develop their self-esteem through different activities, and to put, okay, no sound, can you hear me? All right, everybody can hear me. Unfortunately, we don't have the chat to so that people who have no sound, they could see your yeses. So I'll just continue. Yes, I will move on. So what do we teach at the English lessons? It's life competencies, life skills. And there is the Cambridge framework for life competencies, and I will just show you, and I will show you the name of a blog where to read about it. So this is creativity, critical thinking, and problem solving. And you've seen in this story, in this audio story, picture story, that there was problem solving. In this situation, they were these students were solving a problem of a social issue, right? They were trying to say sorry and to percept their own mistakes and troubles they created, and then they solved them. But really, problem solving is more about activities in the classroom when they have a task and they have to complete the task, and this should be a problem solving activity. Okay, I will continue and show you some examples on problem solving activities. Digital literacy, learning to learn, communication, collaboration, emotional development, which is really important, and how you reach that in the classroom. It's group work, teamwork, and pair work. This will influence their emotional development a lot. So all of these competencies are interrelated between each other, and you cannot develop one without developing another one. So you can find more information about these competencies at World of Better Learning blog. It's on cambridge.org website. You don't have to rewrite the link, just type in World of Better Learning and you will see that. And there is another type of content, which is culture. It's very close to values, but when we put it as culture, we can work with behavior more. Yeah, and for primary students, it's preliminary to bring into the classroom culture in terms of family and community culture. For example, classroom management, classroom rules, this is community culture. And if we use this content for teaching language, this might be really rewarding. And I had a session on classroom management once, and there was an exercise, not an exercise, an activity where you create posters with classroom rules where you can put some hints or some signs on how to say, can I go out, can I have a pencil please, or something like that. So you can teach language and it will be used realistically in the classroom, because this will be a question on the need, because not only the fun they have at the lesson where they have meaningful communication, but also when they need something and they have to say it, that's where communication becomes meaningful. So posters with classroom rules will work as community culture. The home culture of the students, also important in primary classroom. This is more about Ukrainian based content. Yeah, when we had the sentence about the pike, pikes live in water. This is home culture for students a little bit. Then culture of English speaking people and culture of communities in the world. This doesn't deal much with primary students, but still we use this kind of content. And here, for example, we have an example of community culture in the story. There is this girl Misty who can be invisible, and she sneaked into the queue and got her sausages because she saw that the sausages were coming to the end, and her friends stayed at the end of the queue. And then when sausages were finished, her friends got a pizza. So this is more about community culture, like standing in a queue and being patient. All right, this kind of content, yeah, we have also the diversity, the cultural diversity here, because here we have Saint Nicholas, who brings toys to children in Ukraine, and here we have Santa Claus, and you can compare that in England. Children get presents from Santa Claus, and here from Saint Nicholas. And this is also something that develops not only their language and their local based content, but also it develops their critical thinking, and they can compare Santa Claus to Saint Nicholas. What's different? What's the same? Okay. In terms of clothes topic, we can talk about clothes in Ukraine and so on. And I remember the picture with fish and, okay, I don't see your. Okay, I will repeat once more. There is no chat box for today, but in future we will have all the chat box for you that you can communicate. Unfortunately, only I can see your messages. We have already dealt with this, so yeah. Moving on. Yes, there are different types how language and content are integrated. And yeah, I was mentioning the picture with fish and birds. So content and language integrated learning, or CLIL. Yeah, this is CLIL. There is CBLT, which is content-based language teaching, and immersion. I've got another poll for you, but before that, let's find out what is what. So content-based language learning, it's when language is at the first place. Yeah, it's the most important, and it's for example, presentation of new vocabulary or presentation of new grammar, new structures based on some content, on some story, on some text or listening exercise from which we take language. But language is more important here. Then we have immersion, where language becomes only the instrument. And okay, can you hear me? Yes, yes, again. All right, moving on. Immersion. I was talking about the subject. For example, we are teaching the complete, not we, a teacher of maths is teaching maths in English at a Ukrainian school, for example. Then this is immersion, where maths is the first place, and then we have language. And CLIL, it's the same amount of content and language. For example, we've learned some language, and based on the target language, we have some content, and it eats the same amount at one lesson of both of them. And we keep the same attention on content and on language. Sorry. And here is a poll for you. What kind... No sound again. Okay. There is one more poll for you. Which type of learning do you use at English lessons? Okay, that's interesting results we have here, but still only 44 people voted. A 44%, I mean 47%. Okay, let's wait till 50 and continue. Okay, it's 50. I'm closing the poll on the 54% of those who voted, which is, I think, about 100 people, right? 54% voted for CLIL, and 28 for content-based language teaching, and even 18 have immersion. So that's really nice result. And I would say in teaching English, we mostly use content-based language learning. For example, in Quick Minds, we have only 2 lessons out of 8 in the topic for CLIL. Yeah, the rest is content-based language teaching. Still, we live in the world where language is an instrument, and we teach language through other topics all the time. But language is usually preliminary. That's why CBLT type is mostly used. But it's really great if you use CLIL, because CLIL is much more rewarding in different ways. For example, you can see a few examples on the slide, but I will tell you about working memory a little bit. For example, if I told you to get to the railway station, you have to go downstairs, then turn left, then turn right, get to the underground, go 2 stops, then go upstairs, then turn left, and then turn right. You already forgot everything, right? What I began with, and what was in the middle, and how I finished. You didn't understand how to get to the railway station. But if I gave you a map and explained it with the map, you would see a picture and you will see that route. Then, after you tried the route once and came back to the point where we were talking about this, you will never forget this way from the place we're talking about and to the railway station. What can we take from this? Yeah, it's because when you only hear, you don't get much information. You don't store this information in your permanent memory. It's working memory. You can repeat that several times and then forget. With the map, you have a little bit of geography here. Yeah, you make connections with language and visual material, and you use completely different skills from what you need at language. Yeah, of course you use listening skills, but you use your spatial and visual intellect to understand this. And when you do this, you practice, but you don't practice language. You listened, but you don't practice language when you go from one point to another. This is completely different area of your life. And we can say that this is CLIL, yeah? When you make connections that are not connected as only for language, but connected in your life. Okay. How to activate CLIL? A few activities by the end of this webinar. Categorizing, ordering, reordering activities that activate critical thinking. And you can ask them to, for example, take flashcards. You can give out flashcards and with animals, and stand in a row. Which animal is the most dangerous? From the most dangerous to the least dangerous. Yeah, from the biggest to the smallest, from the loudest to the most quiet one. And in this exercise, they have to think to do this, and they activate their general knowledge, their their critical thinking. And if you give them these flashcards, they stand in a row, they activate TPR, they move. That's how they remember things much better. And the task here, for example, to make it even more complicated, you can put these flashcards on their back, to stick it on their back somehow, and ask other students to shout out the name of a flashcard, like cat, stand, cat 2, yeah, or cat 3 in the row. Then it develops this memory of the vocabulary. Okay, moving on. Or here, another critical thinking exercise to matching, yeah, match skeletons with the animals. And this is CLIL because this activates the connection to biology. Here we have Venn diagram, and this is an activity which is better for secondary students to compare Middle Ages and to like modern times. How it works with primary students, we can ask them to find differences. What's different? What's the same? This pictures. Here we have picture 1, 5 snakes, picture 2, 3 snakes. Or picture 1, 1 giraffe, picture 2, 2 giraffes, right? And then they count all of these animals and give you answers. Okay, comparison is also very good for critical thinking, because here they are comparing what's in their fridge, what's in their friend's fridge, and it develops comparison develops critical thinking a lot. Target practice, it's really good to use it with secondary students as well. We put here the topic, then how this topic deals with me, with my country, and with the whole world. For example, if we're talking about secondary students, this can be ecology, what I do to keep ecology, to keep my home clean and my community clean, what's done in my country and what issues there are in my country and in the world. If we're talking about primary students, we can take pets, yeah, in the animals topic. I have a cat, so we have here pets or animals. I have a cat. It's in Ukraine, people have cats, dogs, and so on. In the world, people can have something else, lizards or iguanas. Content here, geography is the content, and they are talking about weather and how to make it a little bit more CLIL. You can make teams that are responsible for China, responsible for Scotland, Spain, and Mexico, and call what is the weather in Mexico. And for example, China team says it's hot in Mexico, and they have to act it out. Then it's their turn. It's rainy in Scotland, and Scotland walks around with umbrellas or something. So activating CLIL through drama or through TPI is also really good. Then mind mapping is really, or spider diagrams it's called, these are really good activities for critical thinking, and it activates CLIL because it activates connection from language to some other subject. Like here we have sports, but this is not for young learners, but you can transform it into a mind map which can be worked out with young learners. Just sports, and then different kinds of sports. Animals, different kinds of animals, and you can even have big, small, and put them all around here. Or animals, and then Ukraine, world, and put them around these bubbles. And there is a nice application if you want to try diagrams. MindMeister. It's a Google application which you can download for free and use it for your diagrams and then print them out. So it's mindmeister.com. Another CLIL activity. Can you guess? Oh, sorry. Can you guess the topic here? IT, okay, internet, computers. Yeah, that's right. So, oh, online security, somebody wrote. Yes, that's the actual topic of this lesson, online security. We are guessing the topic of the subject. With the young learners, we can give them just flashcards. So I show you a few items here, and you tell me what's the topic. Well, yes, classroom objects. They might shout it out in Ukrainian or another language, which is the first language for them. But still, what's important here is, class, school, this can be. Yeah, if they shout out school, this will be perfect. If they do it in their own language, it means that they are thinking, so it's 50-50, but okay. And then I've got this slide for an activity, how to learn words. They have to say it in a row, like rubber, pen, pencil, bag, book, desk, ruler, notebook, pencil case. Then we have rubber, and what was here? Oh, I already forgot. Rubber, pen. Then they say it in a row again. Then they say it rubber, pen, pencil, bag, book, desk, ruler, notebook, pencil case. Then, and like this, we wipe away, we take away one of the objects, but they still have to say it in a row. What were the words? So pictures are disappearing, but they have to mention these words. That's how you make them learn the words and drill the pronunciation of these words until all the objects disappear and they repeat it in a row like this. Then you can give them another order of these objects, but so that they don't say it in a row as they remembered it in a working memory. Okay. Yeah, that's what they kept in their working memory. And you know that within kids, it's really it's very short term, this working memory. You as I said with this how to get to the underground example, so you go out, go left, you might remember this text, but in 2-5 minutes you will forget it if you don't repeat it all the time. So that's why you change the order of these objects, and here they have to connect the word to the picture, and they start working cognitively, creating the concept of these words in their minds. And another activity is don't say yes or no. For example, you hang a flashcard behind a student, and this can be, for example, a cake. I have a cake here, and they have to guess what's behind them. And there is, for example, 2 teams. In one team, one student is sitting in front of the classroom, and another team, one student in front of the classroom. And the students sitting have to ask questions like, is it big? And the rest of the classroom or their team have to say, it's big. If they say no or yes, they cannot help anymore. They are not allowed to answer. So the task is to make them say the full sentence, but if somebody says yes or no, they get a card, or you give them cards at the beginning and you take away one card from the team. Yeah. So there are different ways you can manage this, but the main task is to avoid yes, no, and still keep it normal, asking and answering with the full sentence. Because in reality, there is no need to do this, but to drill the structure, there is this need. And the game is the best way how to work with it. And we are moving a little bit to creativity. It really works well. Oh, I wanted to say that creativity, it's not only about being artistic and drawing and singing and everything, right? Creativity is the ability to find connections where there are no connections. Yeah, and creativity is really used well in business, and this is not about being a very talented person. This is about seeing things in a different way. And this is an example of creative exercise. What kind of animal can you see here? Which animal can you see here? A snake, that's right. Yeah, this is a snake. Or a crocodile, I don't know. Right, it's a snake or a crocodile. A lizard. Okay, different answers. Yeah, this is a snake. So because it's in the sand, yeah. Here is the sand, not water. Crocodiles are usually look like this in water. Okay, we will move on. So this is a creative kind of task which continues to their own creativity, where they have to hide a lizard, to make a camouflage for a lizard, so that it's not really visible that it's there. Yeah, they have to use colors to do that. And my favorite zero preparation activity for creativity is doodle. Yeah, the task here is to name as many things as possible what's on the blackboard or on the whiteboard, and you can paint something like this. It can be anything, yeah, or just something with no meaning at all. But the task is, for students, is to find different things what it can be. All right. So critical thinking should be with students, should be developed within students. And in primary classroom, they need to understand what's true or false. They need to understand whether to believe or not to believe in the story, for example, about the values, right? To identify inconsistencies and to identify missing key events from the stories. Within social responsibilities, the important ones in primary classroom is that they volunteer and take responsibility for their learning, and they are confident in expressing their own ideas. So these two things, responsibility, volunteering, and three things, and confidence are crucial for primary students. And all the examples were taken from Quick Minds 1 for Ukraine. If you're interested in where to get the audio, you can download it for free at Publishing Linguist UA. Okay. Okay. There are other components, sorry, like teacher's book with the free yearly planning at linguist.ua. There is an online interactive component for this book, which you can also find for free at publishing.linguist.ua. There is activity book, which is very soon is going to appear, and you can already order activity books now. They go with a special offer and a very good price for Ukraine, and discounts for Ukrainian teachers who want to buy a big amount of activity books for their school. So check it out at linguist.ua. It's there. There are teachers' books, teachers' resource book, and flashcards with a very good price as well. And additional materials you can use with the Quick Minds course is Super Grammar, Super Alphabet book, Story Fun, and Fun for series. To get more information, you can go to our Facebook page, Cambridge University Press CLT Ukraine. Type in this line and like us and get all the information, and there you will be able to find the recording of this webinar. Okay, here are my contact details. If you have any questions or first comments, you can call me and write to me. And the Linguist company is the official distributor of Cambridge University Press materials in Ukraine. You can call here and you can find all the information at linguist.ua website, specifically about Quick Minds course. And that's the end. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions?